this afternoon?
Yes.
Okay, please.
Dear Ajahn and teachers, I'd like to have two questions that need to be clarified. The first question is about sanya. As we learn that sanya arises in every moment of citta. At the moment of loba, for example, loba attaches to its object, and sanya marks the object with loba. My question is, does sanya only mark the object with loba, or it also mark other chittasikas by conditions, or all the chittas that arise together with it while they performing their functions. My second question is about Domanassa Vedana. I have learned in the books, in some books, that there are two kinds of Domanassa Vedana. One leads to kusala, and the other leads to akusala. So my question is, what condition the difference between these two kinds? Thank you, Ajahn and teachers.
First of all, on sanya. So at every moment in life, sanya arises with the citta, and it marks the object that is experienced, marks and remembers the object experience. So at a moment of seeing, sanya arises, it marks the visible object that's seen. Moment of hearing, it marks the sound that is heard, so that it can be remembered and conditioned thinking about what is seen and what is heard. It doesn't mark the chittas and chaitasikas arising with it. It just marks the object experienced. It marks exactly the same object that the citta experiences. So the same visible object seeing sees, the same visible object that phassa contacts, the same object that ekagata focuses on, the same object manasikara attends to, and so on. So the citta and all the chaitasikas experience exactly the same object. So the function of sanya at each moment is to mark and remember what is experienced. So it's always the same object that the citta marks. So in a sense door process, it has to be the sense object, but in a mind door process, it can be a reality or a concept. So if there is marking of a flower's name, of course it's just a tiny dot of the flower's name, but then the sanya marks that beginning of the name so that it can be recalled later. If it's loba that is being experienced in the mind or process, sanya marks loba. So any object can be experienced in the mind door, and sanya marks whatever the citta experiences.
Well, it seems that, for example, in a situation when you, for example, you asked me, did you enjoy lunch, Hang? And I may say, I remember, yes, I like the food, and I remember the feeling that when I eat the food. But it seems that there's a sanya that marks the feeling why loba attached to the object. Or it is the different moments.
So at the moment of attachment to the food with pleasant feeling, sanya is marking it. And then so quickly there's thinking about how pleasant it is, the pleasant feeling, how enjoyable it was. and thinking about the taste. So it's thinking about the feeling, thinking about the taste, and sanya, marking and remembering the memory of that pleasant feeling that is thought about. So it seems to be the real one, but it's the idea that has been remembered about the pleasant feeling. So it's always the object that is experienced that is marked, but the cittas follow so quickly.
And there's an alternative possibility, and that is when there's recalling something that one is attached to, then it's a condition for that pleasant feeling to arise, not because it's remembered from before, but because the thinking of the object, the recalling of the object conditions attachment and with pleasant feeling at the time.
Can it be the next, the different moments where the sanya mark the Vedana, the feeling?
It could be, as Sarah said, if there was, you mean at the time, at the original time or the recalling time?
The next time. Can be the different times, the original one. For example,
If it wasn't,
when
if
the
it
loba attached to the object and
yes,
there's Vedana at the same time,
right.
and the sanya, can the Vedana be recorded at the same time?
So if the Vedana was marked originally, then it could be recalled. But if it wasn't marked at the time the pleasant object was experienced, but just the object was marked, then when the object is recalled later, it could still be a condition for pleasant feeling to arise. Not because it was the pleasant feeling remembered from before, but because it's an object of attachment that is being remembered. Just like when one is anticipating going somewhere pleasant or anticipating a next meal with pleasant object, it'll be a condition for pleasant feeling.
Usually there's clinging to pleasant feeling all day, so pleasant feeling is the object, so it's marked and remembered. So the pleasant feeling from enjoying the tasty food and so on, it's the object of clinging again and again, like even now, thinking about the pleasant feeling whilst eating lunch, the pleasant feeling, the idea of the pleasant feeling is the object, and that is marked and remembered, conditioned to want more of that pleasant feeling. But it's always the same object that the citta experiences. And it's so funny, really, because at a moment of tasting, the Vedana is neutral at that moment, but the lobha comes in so quickly because of the thinking and dreaming about the taste on account of sanya, thinking about it, marking it, remembering it, then pleasant feeling with regard to it, clinging to the pleasant feeling. So sanya all the way conditions the thinking about the pleasant taste and the pleasant feeling, even though actually at the moment of tasting, neutral feeling.
Thank you. About the second question, yes.
The domanassa. So whenever there is dosa, there is domanassa, unpleasant feeling. And usually when there's unpleasant feeling, it accumulates, it conditions more unpleasant feeling, more akusala follows, the sadness about the unpleasant feeling, like one feels unhappy and then thinks with more dosa, domanassa about the unpleasant feeling. But what about now if there's unpleasant feeling and there is understanding? Then the domanassa can be the object of understanding, can be conditioned for understanding. And what determines whether kusala or akusala cittas follow? Pakato upanisya pachya, natural decisive support condition, conditions the habits, the accumulations for kusala or akusala, but unexpectedly. So usually we talk about how lobha conditions more lobha and it accumulates, and dosa conditions more dosa and accumulates. But actually, lobha can be a condition for kusala, and dosa can be a condition for kusala too. And kusala can be a condition for akusala. There may be kindness or generosity or understanding, and then quickly clinging to it. Oh, my generosity, my kindness. So in this way, we find any state can be a condition for kusala or akusala, even though it usually akusala conditions more akusala.
But it seems to me that it's not two kinds of domanassa vedana. It's
just domanassa vedana is domanassa vedana.
In the
it
books
just,
they say that there are two different kinds of
it's
domanassa.
just domanassa
and I was
vedana.
wondering, that's why...
It's just domanassa vedana, that is a
Yeah.
condition for kusala or akusala that follows,
Yes.
that's all.
Yes, thank you.
I think our friend Dong, maybe you have, because just before we started, we had a conversation with Dong. Are you here? Yes, and I just heard the last part where everyone was saying to Dong that after listening to the Dhamma, life goes on as usual, nothing changes. So he is wondering if after listening to the Dhamma and life just keeps on going as usual, so what's the point? So no need to listen to the Dhamma. So I think this may be a good point.
Is there sanya while one is sleeping?
If we sleep without dreaming, I think, no. There is sanya in every chitta, sorry.
See,
Every chitta, yes.
is there sanya now at moment of seeing only?
Yes, it is there, but it's not, it doesn't appear.
Is there sanya at death?
A moment of
Death.
death, chutti, chitta, yes.
After death?
After death, patisandhi chitta, yes.
Not any moment without sanya. So can sanya be I remember?
No.
Keep the word and the understanding of each word until it appears.
Yes.
Please go ahead, Dom.
I have a small question regarding Dhamma, because in our previous meeting, Chan used to say that there's no self, there's only Dhamma here. It appear and disappear in a very short moment, right? There's no self. So I just have a small question that if there's no self, what is the purpose of our studying here? Because even though no matter we understand it or not, you can understand or you don't understand, Dhamma is here and it will appear and disappear without anyone's controlling. So what is the purpose of understanding? Because no matter you understand it or you don't understand, the Dhamma is here. So it does not change anything, in my opinion. So what is the purpose? You cannot control it. It appear and disappear. No one can control it. So why do we need to understand? Why do we need to do that? Because even though we understand or not, it will happen, and it is. So which one is better, to understand or not understand. I'm not sure, because maybe I just live the life as it is. Without understanding, I think it doesn't change the fact that you said that there's no one. So there's no self, sorry. So I don't understand the point of studying, about what we are discussing right now. So that's my question. What is the point?
So we've understand that according to the Buddha's teaching, there is no self. But is there an idea that there is a self?
The idea of self, I think, it is just our sixth sense.
Yes.
Like
Right.
the feelings, the environment.
We
around
could
it.
call it many things,
Yes.
but if it's true that there is no self, but there is an idea of self, or a sixth sense, or whatever we want to call it, then our perception of the world is not in accordance with the way things are.
Actually, in my opinion, there's an idea of myself, but I think it is the wrong one, in my opinion.
So would that be a point for concern, that one has a perception of things that is not in accordance with the way they are? Does that make life easier or more difficult? So understanding is, at least we can say it's not harmful and probably beneficial.
It is not harmful, yes, I understand.
Right.
But I still don't understand why, because, even understanding or without understanding, Dhamma is here. It appears and disappears. So I'm not sure about the benefit of understanding
I think it's
that
like
fact.
someone who says, I know I'm crazy, but I don't care. I'm happy to be crazy.
I think no. Yeah. I don't want to be crazy
Yeah,
at all.
right, yeah.
The Buddha said that all worldlings are like mad people. So until becoming an enlightened, we're all like mad people. Is this good to carry on as a mad person? Or is it better to begin to understand a little about the ignorance and wrong understanding, which leads to all kinds of trouble in life? Like it's the ignorance and wrong understanding that leads to all kinds of wrong ideas, wrong practices, ideas that it's good to kill, good to steal, all kinds of bad deeds, bad speech, good to be angry because the others are so bad, and so on. So this is all because of ignorance and wrong understanding. Isn't it better to appreciate what is true and begin to understand where the real problems in life are? Not the others, not the situation, but here and now, the ignorance, the attachment, the wrong understanding.
In short, my understanding is, the answer to my question is, it is better to being delighted than not knowing anything, right? So it's just an idea of, it is better to being delighted. Is that the question?
And, it's better to be what? Enlightened.
Enlightened,
Yes.
yes.
And I think some people may think that in order to develop understanding, there has to be a change of lifestyle.
Oh yes, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, right.
We need to stop boozing, stop bad habits, stop lying to the
Yes,
people
yes.
around. Yes, that's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
that's not a correct understanding of the Buddha's teaching at
Oh.
all. So the understanding of the way things are at the moment can begin regardless of how much akusala there is, and regardless of the situation we're in, and regardless of what bad habits we have. He didn't say, first give up your bad habits and then you'll be able to develop understanding. It's the development of understanding that leads to the gradual dropping away of the bad habits. So if we think of it in that way, and that the development of understanding just requires an interest in, I would say, seeing the value in understanding versus wrong view. As you've just said, it's better to be enlightened, or at least to have more understanding, than to have the misperception that we have. And that's all that's needed for one to appreciate hearing the Dhamma and joining the occasional discussion such as this, or other source of access to the Buddha's teaching. It doesn't need any desperate change in one's habits or lifestyle. It doesn't need giving up going to the movies or whatever one likes doing. It's just fitting in the opportunity to hear and discuss the Buddha's teaching from time to time to our present lifestyle. So it doesn't need, one doesn't need to make any sacrifices.
You said that no need to sacrifice our habits, right? It's just keep the life as it is.
Yes, because understanding has to develop naturally. If we change our lifestyle first and then think of practicing, this is not the natural development of understanding. This is doing something that we think is going to lead to understanding, but that's not in accordance with what the Buddha taught.
I'm not sure I understand it right, but you said that no need to sacrifice the habit, the lifestyle, the normal lifestyle, and just wait for the understanding to happen, or is that correct?
Not quite, because
Not quite.
if you just wait, then when is understanding going to happen? What would be the cause for there to be understanding? Waiting isn't
Yes.
a condition for a factor in the development of understanding. So the interest is, one is interested in knowing more about the way things are in reality, not as they are perceived to be at the present moment. And then, of course, if there's an opportunity to join a discussion like this, or listen to some recorded talks, or read some suttas or something, then one would take the opportunity to the extent that one's interest leads one. No rule about that. And then, having heard the Dhamma, we find that it's a condition to reflect on that subsequently in a day. Even we may not be conscious that we're thinking about it as we go about our daily life, but it's there percolating away in the background. and being considered. And that can be a condition subsequently for a level of understanding to begin, awareness and understanding to begin.
Okay. So,
First point, you said, well, whether we understand or not, you know, realities will come and go just the same. But the understanding works its way. With understanding, it's a condition for there to be more goodness in life, less harmfulness. It's a condition for more wise consideration, more understanding in future. So the understanding is a condition that affects and changes one's life gradually. So life doesn't just go on still seeing, still hearing, still painful bodily feeling, but the understanding changes the perspective and it leads to more understanding, less ignorance, less wrong understanding, all by conditions. So we say, okay, life goes on as before, we carry on working, taking care of our family, having fun and so on. Yes, conventionally, but understanding conditions more consideration of others, more kindness, more goodness, more appreciation that in truth there's no one here, no one that behaves badly.
Excuse me. You finished the question. May I say something? The first, your second question, right? Let me back to you. You told that Thomanassa Vedana. There are two kinds, right? One is. I think maybe. Yeah, it's maybe the book is confusing or you're confused by yourself, but actually, it just have two chittas. Is we call Thomanassa chitta. So one is Thomanassa hakatang, padikha sampayotang, asankharikang. I'm sorry to say Bali, but another one is Thomanassa hakatang, padikha sampayotang, sa sankharikang. So this is two, but so it's just two. This Vedana, Thomanassa Vedana is only two. One is unprompted and another one is prompted. So it's arise just with it is akusala only, not with the kusala. I would like.
I mean the Vedana, Domanassa Vedana. I know there's two kind of dosa.
Yeah,
One is the prompted, one prompted, the other is unprompted. But the Vedana accompany it is called in Pali Domanassa Vedana, right? And I learned from the books that say that there are two kinds of Domanassa Vedana. That's why I'm wondering.
Okay.
Yeah. So what the teachers has said that there is only one kind of Domanassa Vedana, and dosa. You have said that there are two kinds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. That's different.
She knows that any domanassa is akusala, but her question was about domanassa as a condition for kusala or akusala. Domanassa is always akusala, no
Yeah.
question
so
or
the
doubt about it.
domanassa leads to akusala, and the other leads to kusala. So it's that's the point. Thank you. Thank you.
Like to bring up one of your topics? Hai has many topics to bring up. She can bring up one.
Yes. Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you, John and Sarah, for coming and sharing the Dhamma with us endlessly. My question follow up on one of the questions the other day when we talk about the sense. And we know you explained that the body sense, there are many body sense arise and falls away. And we wonder, is that the same for the eye sense? That, there are many eye sense falling and arising, but only one visible object can be impinged on one of those that's already arisen. So that's just curiosity, want to clarify. Thank you.
Make one comment and then let Ajahn add more or correct me any time I make a mistake. But the body sense rupas arise all over the body. This is the difference. So, as you say, only one object can impinge on one body sense at a time. But there are body sense rupas arising in kalapas, which are conditioned to arise at any point in the body, almost any point, not the nails, but almost any point. But when it comes to eye sense, it just arises in one point in what we call the conventional eyes. One point in one eye, one point in the other eye. So it's not all over the body or all over the eyes or all over the face. It's just as one point. And as you mentioned, the visible object just impinges on one eye sense only. So that means it can only impinge on one eye sense in one eye at a time. It can't impinge on eye sense in both eyes. So it may impinge on the eye sense in one eye now and on the eye sense in the other eye a moment later. But there aren't groups of eye sense like there are groups of body sense arising at any point in the body. But perhaps Ajahn would like to add more.
I'd like to ask, what does the madman do?
Yes.
Now,
What does the madman do?
They did something abnormal, I think.
what is meant by being mad or crazy?
I'm not sure, but usually when we're talking about the definition of madman, it's somebody, those who act abnormal things. Yes, that's just my definition.
Acting irrationally,
Yes.
yeah, without reason. Yeah.
What about clinging to the visible object that's already passed, or clinging to the pleasant feeling that was experienced at lunchtime and has long since fallen away? Is that mad?
It is abnormal. To how they say, to attach to the feeling in the past. For example, we taste the food in the past, but we didn't taste the food right now. So it's, I think, in my opinion, it is unreasonable to attach to that feeling because it is it's so far away. It is in the past, and no need to attach to that feeling anymore. Then I think it is more important to understand what we are feeling or what we are understanding right now, not in the past, not in the future, because that is the things that we cannot control. That's my...
Even the feeling now, did the Buddha teach that whatever arises falls away and is dukkha, unsatisfactory?
Yes, in a very short time.
So any clinging to even the pleasant feeling now, because it's actually unsatisfactory, but it's taken for being so satisfactory. So actually madness most of the day. So isn't it better to begin to understand how much madness there is in a day? What a mad world it is.
What sanya marks and remembers? Only the object. What is there as the object? Sanya marks and remember only that. Right or wrong sanya?
Excuse me, you asked.
Right sanya or wrong sanya? Vipallasa? Sanya vipallasa?
It's wrong, sanya.
What is the difference between the madman and not the madman?
The madman do not understand the truth.
Marks and remembers that which does not appear as it is.
Exactly. Yes.
Or moments of madness, any moment.
Many moments of madness in a day.
Then now a madman.
Yes. there is, yes.
At what moment?
At the moment of not understanding the truth, the Dhamma, that is arising and forming at this moment.
Chị Tâm Thanh, maybe time for you to raise your question.
Hello Achan, hello Sarah, John and Cô Tâm Bạch. Thank you that I have an opportunity here to be here and share the Dhamma with all of you. And question, silly question, funny question. I like Achan to explain more about the Pavanga Chitta. The Panya Paranga Chitta, do they have Panya in it? I don't know how to explain. Or only Panya only accompanied with Kusala only. Could you please explain that? Thank you. Oh.
Asking whether Bhavanga Chittas can,
Yes.
whether Panya can arise with
Bhavanga.
Bhavanga Chittas.
Thank you.
And so the Bhavanga Chittas in this life, as I think you know, are exactly the same kind of Chittas as the Patisandhi Chitta, the birth consciousness, different functions, but exactly the same kind of Chitta, accompanied by the same Chaitasikas. If the Bhavanga Chittas, if the Patisandhi Chitta is a result of akusala karma, then the birth, for example, in an animal realm or a woeful realm, is ahetuka. It means no wholesome or unwholesome roots. If the Patisandhi Chitta, such as in human realm, is the result of kusala karma, then it can be accompanied by no roots if it's a result of very weak akusala karma, in which case the being will be reborn handicapped or without faculties like eye sense or ear sense. Or it can be accompanied by two wholesome roots or 3 wholesome roots. If it is accompanied by 2 wholesome roots, these are aloba and adosa, no panya. So kusala can be developed, but understanding cannot be developed in that lifetime, as in the case of the birth accompanied by 3 wholesome roots, in which case they are aloba, adosa, and amoha. Amoha is panya cetasika. In that case, the patisandhi citta and all the bhavanga cittas in life are accompanied by panya as well. And it means in that life, it's a result of greater kusala karma and more likely for understanding to develop. It doesn't mean understanding will develop, maybe no opportunities, but more likely if there are the opportunities. So that is panya arising with all the bhavanga cittas and even the chuti citta, which is also same kind of citta during life.
But just to state the obvious, the bhavanga citta, as you know, is a vipaka citta. So it doesn't experience another citta or anything like that. So the object of the panya is just the object of the bhavanga citta, which is the same throughout life, the same as the patisandhi citta. It's actually an object from the end of the previous life, not an object of this lifetime. So the panya, it doesn't function, well, it has its usual function, I suppose, but we think of panya as something that can be developed in the course of a lifetime and help us to understand, help the understanding of the true nature of present moment realities. But that applies to the panya that arises with kusala citta, not the panya that arises with the bhavanga citta.
Thank you. So at the time when you are sleeping, without any dreams, bad dreams or anything like that, that's the bhavanga citta, isn't it?
No, the bhavanga cittas arise when fast asleep, no dreaming at all. When dreaming occurs, it occurs in mind door processes.
Yes,
The
yes.
bhavanga cittas don't experience any object through any doorway. So the bhavanga cittas, while in deep sleep, or even now in between the processes of cittas, doesn't experience an object of this world. It doesn't experience an object through sense doors or mind door. It's the object, as Jonathan said, of the last jhana cittas of the last life, not known at all. So it's deep sleep, no dreaming at that time. When dreaming occurs, bad dreams are kusala thinking, just like now, thinking with dosa and domanassa.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't have panya if no dream, or even in between no panya either. Yep.
The bhavanga
Arriving.
cittas are just a result, so they don't lead to the accumulation of panya, but the birth is a factor. So the birth with these wholesome roots is a condition for more opportunities for kusala to develop in life. Like birth in an animal realm, not many conditions for kusala to develop. But the vipaka cittas, the bhavanga citta themselves, are not accumulating.
Yep.
The panya doesn't accumulate.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
just there as a result.
Thank you very much. That's clear to me now. Thank you.
And do you want to ask another question on the whether we should water the plants or lock the suitcase? I think maybe it's helpful for you to listen from Ajahn and others.
This question happened in the Vietnamese Zoom quite a while, because after coming back from the holiday, then I raised the question regarding about the bags, the backpack. My backpack it has about 5 or 6 zips, and then each zips I have is on lock, because I'm afraid, like if I'm not locking, somebody can take things in there. So when I pack it at the back, behind my back, people all will go, when I went past, people all look at me, not because my beautiful bag, they're just thinking because of the 6 locks I have on the bag. So I went back, and then I raised a question to Miss Tam in the Zoom. I said, should I lock the bag, or should I not lock the bag? If I don't lock the bag, then my things in the bag got stolen, then I become angry or whatever, or I blame myself. But if I lock the bag, I feel better. But then again, people look at me and all start laughing with the 6 locks walking along. And not only that, my husband got cranky with me. Every time he want to open the bag, he said, I have to try 6 of them. So that's why I raised the question. And then I also query, I said, I've seen the monk. He went out of his hotel room. He also locked the door. Should he lock the door then? Thank you.
Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I have this drink? Should I have that? Is it the thinking of a mad person? Because it's all about what I should do, not understanding Dhamma, thinking I have to make decisions, I can control life, I can plan the future. But what about understanding now, even whilst remembering with sanya, marking, and remember thinking about what happened with the bags? It's just conditioned thinking by accumulations. And when we try to set a rule and think what I should do, more and more clinging to the idea of I.
But someone in the Zoom suggests to me, Tamthan, if you worry so much, just lock it, and then you have a peace of mind. You can enjoy your holiday, then you don't worry about it.
Yes, don't worry about the cranky husband. Do what you want to do. No, seriously. In terms of locking one's hotel room when going out, I mean, one does what is prudent. So if there are valuables in the hotel room, yes, obviously the door should be locked. Whether you're a monk or a lay person, it doesn't make any difference. Otherwise, it's just a conventional situation, the kind of situation we are faced so often in life. We just do the best we can.
So what's the answer? Lock or no lock?
It's understanding now. Should I ask a question? Should
I just want to make sure the answer. Thank you.
No.
Depending on that very moment, who knows, by conditions, no matter how much you are thinking about it, to lock or to unlock. But it depends on that very moment, what condition, such idea.
Ajahn, somebody said to me, when you lock the bag, that means you have a very bad thinking. You think somebody's stealing your thing, akusala, like you're thinking like that. The idea of locking the bag, it means you already plan yourself, a seed in your mind that, somebody's going to steal my thing or something like that.
So what is the idea?
For me personally,
Anyone?
or I'm
Not
not about
only
the other.
you.
For me, I lock them all.
No, I didn't talk about just lock or unlock, but talk about each moment. Now you might think that I'll lock, but when time comes, will you lock or will you not lock?
Yeah, I
Doesn't
might forget.
depend on what you have thought about, but it depends on that very moment.
Yes. But at the time I lock the bag, I'm not thinking like, oh, somebody's going to steal it. But I'm thinking like prevention for myself. Not like, you know,
And what is that moment?
akusala, yeah.
That's why we learn to understand very precisely what is it. Not just the idea that it's akusala or kusala, but the truth is that how can there be the understanding of the truth, whether that moment is kusala or akusala? That's why we learn about the truth in any situation. For example, can there be pleasant feeling at moment of being fast asleep? Everyone sleeps every night. So the question is whether can there be pleasant feeling at moment of sleeping? Otherwise, why do we learn about the truth, the 5 kinds of Vedana and so on? But when time comes, no idea or no understanding at all. Even at moment of considering. So consider at moment of sleeping, does anything appear? And even while one is sleeping, nothing appear. Can there be somanasa vedana, pleasant feeling? Nothing is experienced. So can there be somanasa vedana? Of course. See, while the other didn't say anything at all. See, why it's possible? If one knows that it's possible, of course, there can be somanasa vedana at moment of sleeping, bhavanga, to learn different moments of different people or different being, like the dogs and cats.
Thank you.
Kusala vipaka at that moment.
Yep.
So, can domanassa arise while one is fast asleep?
Yes.
No difference between somanassa and domanassa. See, it's not just its vedana arises with each moment, but it's much more different than what we can just simply say. Vedana arises with each moment. But the moment of sleeping, can citta at that moment have unpleasant feeling arise with it? So can pleasant feeling arise?
No dominance.
If it's kusala vipaka, like in this realm,
Yes.
the bhavanga cheetahs, can they arise with
Yes.
samanasa?
Yes. Yes.
What about in the animal realm? Can the bhavanga cheetahs arise with somanasa?
No,
Why not?
because it's the ahetuka vipaka.
Right.
Only that reason.
What about being akusala vipaka?
No sumanasa vedana.
Right, because it's akusala vipaka.
That the reason?
Because it's the akusala vipaka in the animal realm.
Because the Santirana Chitta
Yes.
performs the function.
Upekha.
And even if it's akusala vipaka, it arises with upekha vedana.
Yes, true.
Is that enough? That's why we have to understand more and more and more. By way of chati, there are 4 kinds of chati. Kusala, akusala, conditioned vipaka, and kiriya, not being kusala nor akusala. 4 kinds of chati. So whatever arises, we have to know whether it is kusala or akusala or the vipaka or the kiriya. Different ones.
Yes.
Can the moment of sleeping be kiriya?
Oh,
Why not?
because it's the vipaka chitta.
Okay, so can kusala vipaka have pleasant feeling arise with it?
Yes,
Can it have indifferent feeling arise with it?
yes,
Can it have dosa and pleasant feeling arise with it?
unpleasant feeling
And pleasant feeling,
arise with the kusala.
pawanka, kusala,
Kusala.
vipaka,
No.
why not?
If it is the vipaka of a kusala chitta, it can only be upekha or sumanasa.
Because at any moment, vipaka citta cannot be kusala or akusala. And the kusala citta is not the akusala vipaka. So when it is akusala citta, there can be domanasa arising with it. Can there be upekha arises with it?
With
Dosa mula
dosa.
citta.
No,
What kind of feeling can be with dosa?
it dumanasa.
Domanasa. So what about the akusala vipaka? Does it have domanasa arise with it?
Akusala vipaka with dumanasa. No,
Why not?
upekha.
Why not?
Because it's a vipaka of akusala kamma.
So because it's not the cause, it's not the akusala, it is just the result vipaka.
Yes.
So there are 4 chatis, 4 kinds of birth, or the different kinds of, all kinds of reality. Kusala Dhamma, akusala Dhamma, and vipaka, and then kiriya. So when it is the result of akusala kamma, akusala citta can have dosa, but when it conditioned its vipaka, never be dosa, because dosa can arise only with akusala citta, not akusala vipaka, or not any kind of vipaka.
Yes.
That's why we have to understand more precise whether that citta is kusala or vipaka, or kusala and kusala vipaka, different.
Thank you, Ajahn.
What about at a moment when there is painful bodily feeling? What kind of feeling is there?
The feeling is dukkha.
Pleasant feeling or unpleasant?
Unpleasant feeling.
Unpleasant feeling.
Yes.
So we cannot just say vipaka, cittas, akusala vipaka only arises with neutral feeling. So it can be with unpleasant feeling
yes,
in
yes.
that.
only with the body feeling.
Exactly,
Yes,
body
yes,
consciousness.
Yes.
Akusala bodily consciousness arises with painful feeling.
Yes. Yes.
More careful. Can domanassa arise with akusala vipaka?
No. Only
Can,
upekkha.
can dukkha arise with akusala vipaka?
Again, please. Question.
Can dukkha feeling arise with akusala vipaka?
Yes.
When?
When you have bodily feeling.
Only.
Only. Yes.
Only,
Yes.
see? Even we talk about 5 kinds of feeling, we have to understand more whether this kind of citta can arise with what kind of feeling.
Yes.
Can indifferent feeling arise with kusala vipaka?
Yes.
What kinds?
It's, for example, at the moment of giving, there's also indifference feeling accompanied with the citta.
At moments of kusala vipaka.
Vipaka, you mean? Kusala vipaka, there are 2, upekkha, and it can be somanassa feeling, pleasant feeling.
Which kinds of kusala vipaka citta arise with indifferent feeling?
Like seeing, hearing, tasting, and listening.
Smelling. Okay,
Smelling.
hearing.
Yeah.
And what about bhavanga cittas? Can kusala vipaka bhavanga cittas arise with indifferent feeling?
Bhavanga citta.
Bhavanga cittas, which are kusala vipaka,
Kusala
can they arise with indifferent feeling?
Yes.
Which ones?
The santirana, upekkha.
The ones we
Santirana.
mentioned earlier, that the result of very weak kusala
Yes.
with no roots.
Right.
The ahetuka ones,
Right.
indifferent feeling.
Thank you.
Can I add another point that any kusala vipaka citta arise with the root in daily life? I'm not talking about the bhavanga.
Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, any roots? No.
root?
Sampatichana, santirana, any roots?
No.
No. Tadaramana, cittas, any roots? Yeah.
No.
No, no. So all ahetuka.
Okay. So the rooted vipaka kusala citta only arise at the birth or at the bhavanga? Only.
Just.
The 8 Mahavipaka.
Sorry?
The 8 Mahavipaka can perform the function of the Dhamma.
Oh, yes. Okay, John's reminding me. When we come to Tadaramana, different cittas can perform the function of Tadaramana. So it can be performed by Mahakusala cittas, and then they have roots.
Oh.
So when it comes to Tadaramana, it's a little more complicated because
Okay.
it depends which cittas perform that function.
Okay.
So
Okay.
can be with roots.
Oh, at the
Tadaramana,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And that come from which which karma? During the Javana in the same doorway or from the past? I mean the Tadaramana with the root, right? Is it the vipaka of the previous Javana or from the previous karma?
From previous karma, not from those javanas. They're just two more extra chittas that can arise if the sense object hasn't yet fallen away.
Could you please tell more in which case the Mahavipaka Chittas perform the function of Tadaramana?
I let Ajahn tell you.
How long the rupa lasts?
17.
And
Chitta
when
moments.
it hasn't fallen away yet, it can condition the Dhamma.
Yes.
Just experience the object by way of vipaka only.
Yes, but the Ahetuka Chittas also can perform the function of Tadaramana.
Three santirana.
Yes. So sometimes it's the Vipaka, the Mahavipaka Chitta. So when it's the Satirana Chittas that performs the function of Tadaramana, and when the Mahavipaka perform that function.
So when can it be known?
I don't know.
Even Sampatichana Santirana experience just that which hasn't fallen away yet. No understanding of it. That's why I just learn how deep and subtle each moment is. That is only the moment and the way to let go the idea of self or something. The differences between the nama and the rupa, each moment different by conditions, no one.
Because I have a friend, he's new and still a bit interested in knowing what I'm studying now, because I told him that I study Dhamma and he wants to know about Dhamma. I think it's time to be back to very now with Dhamma, basic.
And do you have a question?
I must say thank you because for me to come here and hearing and listening about Dharma for the very first beginner like me. Can you keep it simple for me to what is Dharma? And this question, and I want to listen it carefully and apply for my life, so I have a better view and of to apply that to my life. Thank you so much.
I think you will have gathered that what we're talking about here is the understanding of the way things are, the way life truly is. So it's not so much my life, but what is life? What really is life? That is the subject of the Buddha's teaching. And as you can appreciate, I think what is life, the essence of that is the same for everyone. If we're talking about what is my life, then the answer is going to be different for each individual. If we're talking about what is life itself, then that is a question that is not specific to a given individual. Is it useful to know what life is like? Yes.
Thank you.
When we come to my life, which we're not going to come to, but if we talk about my life, as I said, it'll be different for each individual. Why is that? Because we all have different likes and dislikes and inclinations and tendencies and personality. And these are things that we say have been accumulated in the past. So a person who likes a particular flavor likes it because it has, that liking has been accumulated, has occurred in the past and is carried forward. So the tendency, for example, to get angry is something that has been accumulated. And these accumulated tendencies will vary, and the way they manifest for a given individual will vary too, depending on circumstances. The other thing that varies for each individual is what happens in life. What happens can be considered in the broader sense of good fortune and family and wealth and praise and reputation and so forth. But it can also be considered in terms of the nature of the object that's been experienced through the sense doors. For example, whether what is being seen is a pleasant visible object, what has been heard is a pleasant sound, or whether there is painful bodily feeling or pleasant bodily feeling. And this will vary from one individual to the next. So in both respects, these experiences, what happens in life and the nature of the objects being experienced now, are conditioned by deeds done in the past, according to the Buddha's teaching. Because deeds or actions have consequences that are inherent to the deed. So actually the deed refers to intention. So if there is strong wholesome or unwholesome intention, it can condition results later by its own nature, regardless of the, if one commits steals something, for example, there may be consequences in the conventional sense of being caught and going to jail or paying a fine. But regardless of that, there are consequences inherent in the strong, unwholesome intention that motivated the act of stealing. So that's, in brief,
Thank you so much.
what life is. One way of considering what life is. There's a lot more detail than that. But I'll let someone else. Any questions arising from that?
I think that's too much from me from the first time here. Thank you so much.
Just before we go on, based on that, is there anything that can be done to make life better?
Let's live and make life better. I think it's the first time this morning I come here. I think breathing here can make my life better. I think giveaways, one of the other giveaways, one is life better. It's a lot of things.
Yeah. So whether the intention is wholesome or unwholesome, depend.
It should be wholesome, always. I'm sorry. To be wholesome, right? Yeah. Wholesome. I always want to do wholesome.
Whether,
learning
whether it's
learning
wholesome
Dhamma.
or unwholesome will depend in part on what we talked about, the tendencies that have been accumulated in the past, but on other factors also.
So that's why we have to learn Dhamma, right? To be recognized and try to practice that.
It helps to understand the value, to appreciate the value of wholesome deeds and actions.
Yes.
But it may not be so easy to develop wholesomeness as we might think, because it has to happen naturally by conditions, not because we want to have more wholesomeness in life.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
May I share something? So I would like to go back to the point that Dong says. One point he said, to my understanding, that Dong said that whether or not there's a Dhamma arising and falling, my life goes on anyway, and it's the same. It makes no difference, right? So I would like to challenge that point to make it detailed. For example, in Vietnam, the tradition that twice each month people burn, fake money. It's a paper, but burn fake money in order to send to the ancestor. In other words, so do your family do it? No. Okay. Can I ask Mr. Lợi, how about you? Bạn có đốt vàng mã không?
Hồi xưa có.
Có đúng không? Hồi xưa có. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know. So, for example, now I strongly advise you to burn fake money because everybody burn. Why you don't burn? If you don't burn, then maybe bad lucks happen to you and your family. What do you say?
Regarding the action of burning, I think, as per my understanding,
Yes.
there's no benefit of burning the paper or anything because, for example, my father died a long time ago, 15 years ago, and as per my understanding, the burning of paper does not bring any kind of benefit to himself because there's no him anymore. Just right now, I'm not sure where is he where is she right now.
I got your point.
Yeah.
So thank you.
There's no him right now, so there's no benefit. There's nothing like you burn the paper, you burn the money, you burn the clothes to him anymore because he cannot use it anymore. So
So I just want to point out that is one understanding, isn't it? Understand that there's no more father.
There's no more father anymore.
There's no benefit in doing such a thing. So isn't that just is a proof for my point? Understanding what life really is does make an impact in your life, right? If you do not understand that point, that is pointless. That is no benefit to do A thing or B things.
Oh yeah, that's correct.
So
because
yes, that's what we are trying to discuss it here. If you understand about Dhamma, you understand about what things really are, then some silly advice or pointless advice come in, or somebody force you to do something. You have the base. You have the evidence. You have the knowledge. You have the understandings to know exactly what should you do, right? For example, your boss may say something to you, do this or do that, tell a lie to protect the business, for example. I don't know, in the future, you become a very important person, you have to sign contracts, for example. So, and you know, choice A, choice B makes all different consequence. If you have the understanding of what makes life real, it does make impact, right? It does make it different. That's my point. For example, drinking alcohol or something. If you really think careful about it, you will find many samples in life that understanding really make it different. Without understanding, we will act another way.
Wait a moment. We can discuss later. I think it's you have a lot of chance to chat in Vietnamese and more detail. I think it's a benefit.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, come back to the Dhamma little bit. But I heard a lot about the Santidana, Sampajina, Tamarana in the process. In Dhamma, some Dhamma seem to be relate to the normal line like seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and some like the Santiparana. I already learned in the book, but it's how to say. I have a question. How we can consider when we learn about some detail like this? Some detail it's quite similar, quite familiar, like seeing, hearing, but some detail is quite far, and it's how much it's relevant to me to consider to more clearly understand about the Dhamma when we mention about some technical detail like this, and I would like to hear this more.
Without, if there is no hearing about these words, Santirana and Sampatijana, how can there be the understanding about there is not just only seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching? There must be other realities too, and listening to the very, very subtle meaning, the subtle truth, it conditions the understanding of how subtle this moment is. And it does mean that we have to follow the words, but learn to understand the truth. That cannot be just only seeing. Each word should be carefully considered again and again and again. Just one word. For example, Dhamma. See, we forget that at the moment when we talk about seeing, we forget that it's a Dhamma. Because just pay attention to what the words, to the meaning of what it is. But no matter what it is, it's a reality. It's a Dhamma. The seeing is different from that which is seen. Now, no thought about Santirana or Sampatijana, but understand the truth that what can be known or what is known from moment to moment. Even we heard the two different words, seeing and that which is seen. It does mean that we have fully understanding of the nature of it. Just learn to understand that what appears in life is only that which is seen or heard or smelled. It is moment of a reality, experiences that begin to think of a reality which is not color, which is not sound, but it experiences what is now appearing. Begin to be understanding person of the truth. The truth is that there is seeing right now, but we just only think about that which is seen in life from moment to moment. No thought about the reality which is the chief of the world. If it does not arise and experience what appears each moment, nothing can appear at all. And if there's still no understanding of that which arises and experiences, who is it? What is it? It's I for sure, nobody at all. The seeing is there, no understanding of seeing right now. So there is the idea of I or someone, even not in words. So reality is there, not in word. It has its characteristic. And the reality which think cannot see. Is there thinking? Is it true? Thinking is not the moment of seeing, Because even there's no seeing at all, there can be thinking a lot without seeing. But think about what is seen, heard, touched, smelled all the time. So the ignorance take it for something and someone as I all the time. I see, I hear, I like, I dislike, I sleep and I wake up, I all the time. But in truth, consider the moment of seeing cannot arise without conditions. And this the way what is there arises only by its proper conditions. For example now, who think that without the eye base there can never be seeing this moment. So seeing cannot be the eye base. And the difference is that, can the eye base see? Can the seeing be that which is seen? See, can anyone see seeing?
No.
So what is seen is only a reality, only one reality, which appears all day, right now, unknown. As actually, what is seen has to be just a moment of what is there. It's seen, no body, nothing at all. But that just very tiny reality, impinged like a dot at the eye base. How can it be a cat or a dog? It has to be just dots. So how many moments? Uncountable. That's why no one can understand the truth without the enlightened one has been developed quite a great wisdom and parami to be patient, to listen again and again, not to forget seeing that it's there and it's not known. When it's not known, I is there all the time. But when there is a moment of beginning to understand it, actually, whatever is there is conditioned. No one can make it arise at all. Be truthful to the truth. Satya Parami, about what is there is conditioned to arise. As soon as it has arisen, it falls away instantly. Is that true? No matter how long we live, short or long, what are there are only realities unknown until it's known by the enlightened one. That's why the most precious moment is moment of understanding the truth. Even so, very little, but it's true. Seeing is seeing. All day, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, no one. Until the understanding is so firm. Now we are talking about hardness. Is there hardness? At moment of touching, no understanding of its truth. That at moment when hardness appear, when right understanding is strong and sharp enough, there is only hardness appearing, no other thing at all. Can it be someone or something? This is the way to wash away, to let go little by little the world of atta from moment to moment, from birth to death, until it is not atta. So what does it mean? It's not atta. It means not anything permanent. That's why Buddha say all dhammas are anatta, all. But there are two kinds of dhamma. The dhamma is conditioned to arise and appear right now. Seeing is conditioned. Hearing is conditioned. What is conditioned appears and disappears. Can we stop the way it is? Can we change the way it make it permanent or more than just one single moment, which is very, very short? So learn to understand that life is so short, right? Life is so short, just in a moment. But when we talk about one's born and that person will die, it seems like that is a person. But actually, if we don't use any word, any name at all, who's born and who dies? See, no one at all. So we have to have the word to represent what is there as something different. Seeing, we use the word seeing, which means only that which sees now. We use the word hearing. Hearing is a reality. It sees now. It does not belong to anyone. But if we don't use the term seeing and hearing, how can there be the understanding, the difference between the two? That's why without word, there can never be any understanding of what is there. That's why word represents a reality. Word itself is not a reality. It's just the thinking of the sound represent whether it's flower or it's pencil or it's the food. Otherwise, cats and dogs, an ant, an elephant doesn't have any word, but it knows what is there. That's why reality are so many different, many subtle realities, like the understanding of the shape and form. Take it for something. When it's something, it is panyati, make it known by shape and form as this, as this. What is seen is different, but it can be known only by memory, which marks and remember the appearance. Now, no word. I don't have to say Kun Sarah, right? I don't have to say Kun Tam, but I know who's there. No word. So it is what the color make known as this one and this one. But that is not enough. It has to use the word, the sound in different languages to understand what we mean for a glass or a flower. And that is satta, sound, panyati. So there are panyati, the words which makes known what is there. The eye, not the hair. At moment of seeing, no sound. But we use the word hair and sound. Satta, panyati. So when we talk about conventional word or conventional idea, it's the word, right? While one is sleeping, what is thought about? When we read, what is thought about? Not just black and white, round or long or short, but sanya marks and remembers it as no word at moment of seeing, but it remembers and knows, make it known as this is different from this. And when it's the word, no seeing, but the sound, different sound, make it known as someone's voice, or my friend's voice. Can there be a dog voice? A dog, not sound. See? That's why so many moments of ignorance, like the madman, see? But what is true is true. What is real is real. It depends on whether there is the word which can condition right understanding of the truth of what is there. For example now, there is seeing. In Thai, different sound, different words. In Vietnamese, different words, different sound. But the reality is that no matter what words it's used. That's why life is very complicated. Each moment, so very quickly, arising and falling away. And it makes known as something all the time. So it's the word of atta, or the word of something all the time. Until the truth is learned to understand what is there seeing is not that which is seen. Very simple, but very deep. How can there be the understanding that that which is seen is not the seeing? Because without the seeing, there can never be anything seen. No word, nothing at all. If there is no the reality which arises to experience what's now appear, that reality is conditioned to arise, to experience what is there now seen. And at moment of hearing, it's the reality which arises and experience different sound to be known by memory. What does it mean? A clock. No one think about microphone. Just the word. So in truth, while dreaming, what is there? Sattha Panyati, not the sound. No sound. Now we can think about India, Nepal. In mind, no word. But there can be thinking of the word in any language. So usually, who knows the moment when the mind experience what the sense experienced? So very quickly, right now, as soon as there is seeing, someone I know, someone I remember the name, the sound, say, by conditions, instantly, no one manage it, no one control it. It's there already. And this is Dhamma. Until one Dhamma appears, is it true? Only one Dhamma appears at a time. Seeing and hearing cannot appear together. But now, so very complex. It seems like everything now appear, the eye and the hair and the color and the dress and so on. In truth, how very quickly the world goes on from moment to moment. Like the fire stick, just one. But you can swing it so very quickly. You can see the round fire or the round light of fire. In truth, just only one. And only one. The enlightenment of the enlightened one experienced directly the different moment of each one arising and falling away. So when we study Dhamma is so very close from birth here, not in the book. So Buddha taught about seeing, just seeing. The very small or tiny ant still sees. So the same, the base for the Chakku Pasada, the eye base is like that for everyone. How many rupas in one single group, and how many groups to form what can be seen as the eye. So everyone lives in darkness and do not understand at all how dark it is. It seems light, but what is there is so dark because the truth does not appear. When the truth does not appear, it's in darkness. So darkness is there, dark world, So very deep and deeper each moment, adding up ignorance, attachment, and whatever is there. That's why we learn little by little to understand what is there in life. No matter what life, this world, or Dhamma, or Deva planes, or animal planes, seeing is seeing. The eye base is the eye base for all, not bigger or smaller, because the ultimate truth is there. What is there in a single, very, very tiny group of rupa? The dust, see, is this not the dust? Come together. So it appears as something all the time. But in truth, it's that which is the rupa, the reality, which does not experience anything at all. Is it right? Not just there are two kinds of realities, one is Dhamma, the other is rupa, the word. But now, no understanding of the rupa even is there, but it does not appear as it is. And the nama which arises and experience from birth each moment in samsara. So how long? It rises and falls away up till now, and on, endlessly, without understanding the condition for whatever arises. That's why, who's the Buddha? Who's the Sotapanna? No wrong ignorance and wrong understanding of what is there now arising and falling away. Absolutely, ultimately, eradicated. What does it mean? Never wrong understanding arises from then on. And that is the kilesa nibbana, upadisesa nibbana. The kilesa, particular kilesa, has been eradicated. Until arahata, no condition for anything to arise. Not only kilesa, citta does not arise. Or dhammas does not arise. Because it has been eradicated by understanding the danger of the condition for life to go on. The hidden truth, the hidden danger. Is it danger? We just sit now. What is dangerous? So dangerous, unknown, because it's gone, breaking, the breaking moment, the breaking world. Nobody can change it until it appears the degree of Katayana, because the Ariya Satya, 3 rounds, the first one is Pariyatti, understand the word of truth, so firm, it let go, attachment to experience such and such, and try to do something to experience it. How come this very moment has been conditioned? It has arisen now, no understanding of that which is there now. Now is now, it's conditioned already. It appears, but no understanding of it. Try to do other thing. So as long as each moment in daily life is the object of understanding of its truth, its nature, no eradication of wrong understanding, ignorance, and the idea of self. It's still the world of atta. And consider the differences between the world of atta and the world of anatta. A rose will not be a rose anymore, because the nature of it is that it can be seen, different color, condition the shape and form to make it known as this is different from that, all day, all day. So how much ignorance. And if there is no understanding at all, it's the world of darkness, even so light, no understanding. There are hearing, not light, smelling, not light, and think and hardness. See, is it light? At moment of hardness appear. So in truth, opposite world, not the world of brightness, of light, of things seen, but the world of darkness. When we close the light, turn off the light, little by little, it's getting dim and dim and dim, not clear, until it turns off or light. But there can still be that which is seen as it's dark. But when there's no doorway to experience any object at all, how dark it is. Is that true? So when seeing not that which is seen appear in darkness, at moment of hearing, the sound, it's also in darkness. So in truth, the world of darkness, only light just very short, and that it's what we learn. There must be how many moments of citta performing the function for what is now appearing to appear. And we learn that even the process of seeing, only one single moment see. What about the other? So now what appears is only the nimitta, the sign or the mark of one reality. And more than that, the sign and mark of something all day. This is the truth of life of the world. And this moment is very precious because it begins to enroot the understanding of the truth. So any moment of understanding the truth is the very precious moment. Without the moment of understanding intellectually right now, how can there be the direct awareness with understanding at moment of using hardness? So no understanding of hardness and that which experience it until condition is there. Naturally, it's not condition for ignorance and no understanding, but it begins to understand. This is very true, only that very moment. The other moment is not there. So the truth is the truth. That's why after his enlightenment, Buddha said, Dhamma is so very subtle. How long it takes for everyone to have parami with understanding by firm confidence that any moment of akusala cannot understand the truth. That's why the more understanding Dhamma as Dhamma, it conditions more kusala as parami before it letting go something of what appears as nothing, no cup. From now, change the way it thinks to understanding the truth, one reality at a time, seeing different from that which is seen. And without understanding, how can there be just moments of thinking about the truth? We live in darkness. Only the moment of seeing, one moment, performs the function of seeing. Even the next moment after seeing does not perform the function of seeing. It performs its function, sampadichana, not the function of seeing. That's why we learn a little more, not want to experience it, But to understand that no one can experience that, only right understanding, only, which is so very truthful to the truth, little by little, works its way. So whether this moment is understanding, working its way, not I or anyone, until then, how long? It does matter, because understanding the Khanti Parami and Viriya Parami, Satya Parami, never go wrong, because enlightenment is the moment of understanding that which is already there now. No need to do anything.
So I think we finish now, and then we can continue in Ajahn Rumok